Hello and welcome. Before we begin, we'd like to take a brief moment to share an important disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed on the Rascals Lounge podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not reflect the views of any organization, employer, or sponsor. This podcast is provided as is and is intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. Discussions on this podcast may include topics such as politics, vaccines, the pharmaceutical industry, professional sports, esports professionals and organizations, content creators, music, medicine, law, science, psychology, herbal medicine, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, religious leaders, faith-based beliefs, and other related subjects. All commentary is based on publicly available information, personal experience, or personal opinion. Any references to public figures, political parties, politicians, athletes, organizations, religious groups, or individuals, living or deceased, are opinion-based and are not intended as factual claims or statements that could harm reputations. No content on this podcast is meant to defame, discredit, or negatively impact the reputation of any person, group, political party, religious faith, or entity. The host and guests expressly disclaim all liability for defamation, libel, slander, or any misinterpretation of the views expressed. This podcast does not provide professional advice of any kind. Comments or discussions involving doctors, scientists, psychologists, attorneys, athletes, religious leaders, politicians, or other professionals, including those related to health, training, injuries, performance, the pharmaceutical industry, herbal remedies, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, vaccines, or alternative treatments, are intended for general informational purposes only. Listeners should never start, stop, or alter any medication, treatment plan, religious practice, legal action, financial decision, or substance use based solely on content heard on this podcast. Always consult with a licensed professional or qualified advisor in the relevant field before making any decisions related to health, law, religion, finance, or lifestyle. The host and guests make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of the information presented, and disclaim all responsibility for errors, omissions, or outcomes resulting from the use of this content. The podcast and its content are provided as is, without any express or implied warranties of any kind. By listening to, reading, or otherwise accessing this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the Rascals Lounge podcast, including its host and guests, shall not be held liable for any interpretations, actions, or consequences resulting from the content of this program. We strongly encourage all listeners to think critically, do their own research, and form independent judgments before acting on any topic discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast.
Okay, now we're rolling. You see? Simple. Yeah, it's good enough. Well, Tim, man, thank you so much for coming on. It's an honor and pleasure to have you on the podcast.
That's nothing, man. No problem. What's
yeah,
going
man.
on?
It's crazy. I kind of first got a, glimpse of you is because you were playing with our good friend, our buddy, Summit 1G.
Oh, yeah, Summit. Yeah, Jared's a homie. Yeah, he's been a homie for a bunch of years now. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Very good. Very, very humble. That's what I like
That's why
about
I like
him.
him.
Very humble guy. And you guys were grinding on GTA, which is a game that I never liked, never played.
I don't either.
I like to see it. Yeah, you don't either. Yeah, you play that
just make it
sucker.
my living. I just, make it work.
Jeez, you're so hardcore in that game. I was like, what the heck? How you got into that game, first of all?
How? I mean, history is... I mean, if you want to go back, I'm, in case nobody knows, I'm a streamer, Twitch streamer, dating back to the Arma 3 roleplay days. So that's, it's always been roleplay, acting as characters in these games that have voice, where you can talk to people, proximity VoIP. And I met Lyric way back when, and I don't know if, Lyric's he's an OG just around the same as Summit. Like, they put them kind of next to each other in terms of quality of content and just, got that respect in the community. But I met Lyric. Lyric, we spent a bunch of time together. I attribute all of my start to him for putting me on the map. And then roleplay just kind of evolved. Like when we were in Arma, it's like, man, it'd be really cool to play in GTA and do it there because it's such a better world. It's more realistic in a sense. And eventually at GTA, I was one of the first people to be able to find that first roleplay mod that allowed you to do it all, which is we're still using today. It's called 5M. So I was one of the first broadcasters on Twitch to find it, and then it just started catching like wildfire. And I got Lyric in the beginning, got him going on there. At least showed him the way. He just, once he got in there, he knew what to do at that point. Like, so he's a veteran in that sense. So yeah, and then people liked my character, and it kind of took off from there, and it's still just kind of perpetuating. So that's where we're at today.
Wow. Watching you, it kind of like got me interested because it reminds me of the days when I got into Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
And in Flight Simulator, there's a different thing. You could become a pilot for, an airline. It's fake airline. And you work yourself up. You start yourself with a small Cessna Caravan, just island hopping, and then you rank up, and then you just get more flights in and stuff like that, and then the airline ranks you up little by little until you become captain and until you fly a Boeing 747,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, wow, this is so cool, like real life scenario.
Progression and
you had to clock in. All this stuff, I was like, you got to clock in. Yeah, you got to go to your home base, go to the airport, clock in there, aboard the passengers, I'm like, what the heck? It's like,
so it's like every aspect of it, not just the takeoff and landing.
yeah, no, it's every aspect.
That's cool.
Of it. I was like, this is freaking awesome. And
Put
then
yourself in the life of a pilot. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
oh, yeah, it's phenomenal. My favorite game. That and Rainbow Six Siege, you probably already know.
Yep.
So
played that a little bit. I haven't played too much of Siege, but
oh, you got to play it, man.
Yeah, no, I have in the very beginning. I had an odd collab with Co Carnage on Rainbow Six early on. I think we ended up in the same game, and then kind of was, hey, you want to play? I was like, yeah, all right. So
yeah, somebody was playing it not too long ago.
Yeah, Rainbow, he pops around, man. He can't settle on anything. He either gets locked on something, goes extremely hard, and then hates it.
Yeah, I noticed
or
that.
He just kind of casually tries to figure something out.
I noticed that about him.
Yeah.
He'll get all hooked into it and grind it every minute, and then all of a sudden he just like boom, stop playing it.
A trigger flips.
But he always go back to GTA. I don't know.
Me too. I mean, it's a comfortable, always moving environment that's relatable. It's still kind of current. It's one of those, he likes to drive, so it's kind of his action driving game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he also has The Sims and stuff too, which,
Yeah.
But it's actually funny thing, going back to Rainbow Six, way back when, I actually did, this is before the competitive scene was really big. On the original Rainbow Six, that was multiplayer. That was like one of my first time I did like scrims and matches on the original.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my only kind of competitive shooting types of environments that I've ever really been in. But I was good, man. The old Rainbow Six was great. And I actually met a couple of the guys in real life. It was like I was the young kid at the time. Now how things have changed, but he was. It was a really cool kind of dynamic, and I thought, I've always liked the Rainbow Six franchise. I thought that was it's cool to see it still going.
Yeah, they changed a lot.
It used to be much more like SWAT tactical.
Yeah.
Now it's it is, but it's definitely kind of pushed into the realm of like sci-fi.
Yeah, they started doing a little bit of a Valorant in it,
Yeah.
You could tell, they have this guy
that's like, what do you do? Otherwise, you just add guns.
Yeah. And now they're making it more like, I don't like now the current version versus the older version. The older version, you had to use totally skill based. You had to, do certain things to find the enemy. Now they have these operators that could literally legally wall hack. So it's I'm like, seriously, what's the point then now? You're banning people for wall hacking, but then you have operators that could legally
Just
walk
literally
ahead.
do it, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
They're moderating it, I guess. Who knows?
yeah, I was like, this is so stupid, and
It
then
really is.
and I see pro players, they use them during tournaments. I'm like, come on, man. Really, they can't be a gentleman's agreement like Halo. They'll do some gentleman agreement and
Yeah, where you
certain
just leave certain.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have like pick bands or anything?
Yeah, they have pick bands, but you only got 3 uh on offense and defense on
Oh,
operators.
okay.
So, but now when, let's say for an example, you want to have the ability to see people's location. Well, you got Jackal as one of them. He scans the footprints and it just bings and dings and tells you where the person's
Gotcha.
at.
Yeah, I think I actually played Jack. I remember playing recently. I think I did play Jackal. I think that's
Yeah.
when someone was jumping back on at one time.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then you got Deimos. Deimos is fun. He throws his thing, his little drone, and just spies on you and tells you your location. And he could just tell the whole entire team, okay, this person's on 2nd floor in this room, So it's like,
Mhm.
okay. And then you got Snake now is another operator.
Snake, what are they just ripping off Metal Gear?
Yeah, Snake from Metal Gear. He just go ahead and just boom. He just has a scanner, just tells you where the person's at. You got Lion. If you make a movement, it's gonna ding you, And then on defense, you got Cavi. She just need to knife you out and then tells everybody your location. I mean, it's just like,
yeah.
I'm like, if you
Yeah, it's
remove
all
all those,
reconnaissance. It'd be cool if it was all done just via like communication. Just like tell everybody, hey, there's
correct.
then people start getting good with known areas and be like, all right, zone 1, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is.
Yeah, map knowledge.
They made it. I think they just made it a bit more user friendly, I think is the idea. So it's more accessible. Otherwise, you go too top tier with the level of knowledge you need to kind of just hang, then you end up having kind of this separation where casuals feel pushed out when they try to get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah.
And now
it's just how it is nowadays.
they did the 1v1 now on it. So when you
Oh,
when
really?
you
Like
yeah,
Gulag
so
style?
yep, now there's a 1v1 section on the game. So when you update it and you get to it, you're gonna see a 1v1. And that's because of Jinxie, Jinxie's like
Yeah. Oh,
the all
really?
1v1 guy. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I saw him. I watched a lot of chess stuff. It's a very odd, like, casual hobby of mine. But yeah, I saw Jinxie was doing some sort of like tournament and Gotham Chess was covering one of the games with XQC or something like that, and they did a whole tournament. I think Jinxie ended up winning. I never really knew the guy. I just kind of hear, kind of like when people are getting big, you just see their name around. So I was like,
Yeah.
what's this guy, dude? I remember him from like TikToks and just always.
That's how he
showing
got
up.
famous through TikTok.
Yeah.
He got
You end up
famous
seeing
through
these
TikTok.
people, they just get thrown at you. You're not looking for them. They're just delivered, So,
Yeah. It was a streamer with 200, or 150, 100 viewers or something like that. And then all of a sudden, boom. Now everybody
insane.
wants to be his friend. It's crazy though. Like,
Yeah, I've been through it once. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah,
Because if you want a little bit of insight on that side where you kind of get big, when I hit the GTA, I'm nowhere near any of that level anymore. So when I hit the GTA role play kind of beginnings where things are really like being discovered, getting out there, people are excited and want to get involved. It was like ding, 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 ding. I had like 6,000 concurrent viewers most days, just naturally.
wow.
It was insane. And I was playing my character Shaggy Dankweed was my OG character. This is kind of like this stoner. I just tapped into my 20s, just like how I just working a shitty retail job and smoking too much weed. And I was like, all right, and then I had, growing up, like weed wasn't legal. So you kind of got the sketch aspect of it. So, and, I just knew a lot of people that were kind of into it. So I was like, I'm just going to tap into that energy where it was like sketchy. Nobody really gives a shit, but you probably should feel like be careful.
Correct.
So yeah, so it was like a lot of that, and just tapping that energy, and just being this, ended up being a lovable character that people love to watch, and just watch this story. But I forget where I was going with that. But yeah, oh yeah. So once I got big on that, then it was just, everyone wanted to be your friend. Reach out to them.
Correct.
Everyone's trying to. And now I see how it kind of works, because I don't get a lot of that anymore. Because they're just trying to grab on and go along for the ride. And I get it's exciting, and you're the guy for it, but the real ones stick around. And
Yeah.
I've kind of figured out who my homies are after that. Well, honestly, I'm glad it kind of came and gone, just so I could really appreciate the people that stick around and see you for you at that point.
Yeah. I be really honest. I always see things in different views. I tell people, listen, I don't care if you're a big massive streamer. I don't care if you're, even they have to be a pro player. I don't even care about that. I'll bring you on the podcast just as long you're a good person. You're a decent, good human being. Um, I had the opportunities to bring some people on that are very well known, very popular, but they're just freaking rude. They're just
Yeah.
stink, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want them
Nah.
on. I'm not gonna bring
I
them
know,
on.
I know the type. It's either
Their egos are disgusting, and it's just like, and I know they're young, and I think that's what it is. I'm in my 40s now,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I don't have time for that. I just rather have the humble, and that's it. Have fun.
Yeah, it's really like where people's heads are at, when like how what got them there, right? Did
Yeah.
they, someone said it to me once, and he's like, some people were born for this, and some people just landed in it. And the people
Right.
that are, or so you just kind of, and I'm assuming he's one of those that just ended up with it, like, because it just kind of fell in his lap, and he's just, oh, well, here we go. We got this thing now. But
Yeah.
some people make a hard effort to get it.
Yeah.
And not saying that's wrong in any means, because it does show drive and passion for it. But sometimes that gets to their head quite a bit, and it becomes, I mean, it could get your head actually either way, I'd say, but it's
Uh-huh.
really what do you embrace once you get this light on you? Like, who are you as a person? Sometimes it's an online personality, sometimes it's just who you are, and getting to you, and you can kind of tell usually based off of anything drama related, what is that person kind of really exposed for, and what is their true self in a sense. But some
Yeah.
people are just got that like drive, and will stop at nothing to get there, and because they want this life more than anything, and they don't care what bridges they're burning or who they're
Yeah.
upsetting. It's like, it's all about me, and that's all that matters. Which honestly, hey, you got to look out for yourself, but sometimes you leave a kind of nasty
Yeah,
impression on people.
you gotta watch out because you may bite the wrong hand that's feeding you, and
Yep.
and then at the end of the road is gonna haunt you. I had a I had a situation once that the streamers like you see this person online, it's like such a nice guy. I mean,
Hmm.
wow, phenomenal, really friendly. And then I got on a Discord call with the person, and I was like, this guy is freaking rude. What the heck? Like, really, like nothing. I'm saying totally opposite. I'm like, this guy has the ability to be the best actor in the world because he's one way on the stream, and in real life is like a freaking rude person. I was like,
You
yeah,
never know, man. People got to be careful. You never know when that's
yeah,
going to come back and get you, because well, it's one of those things. I mean, some people feed off of it, and that's what makes them who they are. But people can see through that,
yeah,
very quickly, and it
yeah.
becomes you become that guy that nobody wants to deal with, and that's not a good place to be. You got to be real careful.
You gotta be careful, especially for content creation, because this
You make
is,
one slip up too, like you're out there, like
yeah.
everybody knows immediately,
Oh my gosh.
especially nowadays.
Yeah, when you're really popular or where you're growing and you got quite a bit of following, one slip up, people just love to just expose that and spread that out like a fire and just put you down. They want to see you gone. They don't even don't even watch your channel. They
No.
just
Some people probably, like, they know of somebody. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really want to get too into the current trauma politics, but I mean, just an example is Saikuno right now. Like, he's got he kind of got exposed for being unfaithful, and now
Mm,
it's all over the place. Everyone's got an opinion. Nobody's even involved in it. They just trying to chime in and be a part of the current news. And I don't, while I am bringing
wow.
it up right now, it's that's kind of just based off the
Yeah, well,
conversation, not necessarily trying to go at it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's how it is, Somebody screws up, it's gonna spread out. Now you do
People don't
something
realize
good.
yeah. People don't realize you're human, and it's just people have to mess up. They
Yeah.
we all struggle through life here, man. We sometimes it's just online and everybody knows about it.
True. We were just talking about Summit,
Hmm.
that helped you out.
Yeah.
He actually helped me out. I was when he before he came on to my pod, I had around, I think, 20, 30 listeners in 20 to 30 countries because it goes by region,
Right. 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 Yeah.
and when I had him on, it just blew up to I'm gonna give you quite a bit of exact, um, I think I went up to over 70 plus countries. I think I'm at 74 countries.
Sweet.
I
No, it's
was like,
awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah.
"Summit, thanks a million, man. I got listeners in all these countries," and I'd be looking, I'm like, "How the heck I got listeners in Russia? What the heck?"
Yeah,
Listeners
it's
all over,
insane. He's got
and
a great
New
poll. I mean,
Zealand.
he's got such a loyal base. Like
Yeah,
he's gonna be somebody till he dies.
yeah,
He's just that guy because of exactly what you said. He's a humble guy. He's relatable. You know, we all got our moods. He can have his days. But it's just so genuinely, comes from a good place that you don't really think of it. And he just, he treats people with respect all the time, and he's in the same mindset, man. He doesn't care who you are. He'll bring
yeah,
anybody in that's a decent human to, kind of make it work. And it doesn't matter what kind of status you have. He's just looking for people that, you know, he's looking for homies, that's
Ye
all it is.
yeah, it's true. What I kinda notice is and it's something I even tell my son, you gotta be careful who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people like they're like you. You have
Yeah.
this, mentality, you wanna do this in school, you wanna do this. Surround yourself with people. I don't care if they say they're nerds. Surround yourself with them because it's probably that people that, kids joke around with that nerd could be the next, you know, Elon Musk, a trillionaire, almost a trillionaire, billionaire. And then you're gonna be like, "Dang, I should have been nice to him. He probably could have
Yep.
hooked me
Yep.
up, in the
Mhm.
future." So be very careful. I said, just make friends. And I noticed at Summit, all his friends are very humble, like yourself.
Good. It's a very good reflection of what you
Yeah,
believe in. Yeah.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And I was like, "Man." And then when he had you on the stream, I said, "No, I gotta bring Tim." And when I came onto your chat, you're very friendly. I was like, "Wait, this guy is actually really cool." And you'll read and then you'll, talk to the
Sometimes.
people. Yeah.
Yes. I get so hard locked though. It's like, I'm never like trying to do it disrespectfully, but I always yeah, I just I focus on what I'm doing. I stay focused. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this too. Hold on, let me look over there. I look at the chat. I'll give it a little bit of time, but I just, I have a hard time kind of flipping back and forth in the conversation. Like right now, like I can lock it on this. If I had distractions, I'd be like, all right, hold on, But
Yeah.
yeah, I get very. I'm ADHD in a sense, but to the point where I have to hyper focus, and if I get distracted, I'm like derailed completely.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I got ADHD or
I think everybody
ADD,
does.
attention
Everybody's
deficit
got
disorder.
it. It's just
I
what
think we all
level,
have
but we
that.
all just claim it.
Yeah, we have that superhuman, ability because when we lock into something, we're gonna freaking lock in and then we're gonna be really good at it.
Oh yeah. You gotta want it. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
just
You gotta want it, you gotta like it,
and
you
you're always
gotta
looking
enjoy
around
it.
until you can find the thing you want.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So man, yeah, that's wild. That's really wild. So you got into content creation. This is when you kind of like first started then to go into Twitch when you were like you said you're in your 20s you started this?
No, Twitch. I mean, I'm 42
Okay.
now. And Twitch started. I was working in. I have a huge IT background, which is where I was working prior to going into content creation. But I mean, early on. So I used to live in New York.
Okay.
I did a little, you know, I went through high school, did a bit of college, but through that, just after high school, I worked a couple interesting jobs. I worked for like a website like company that did a little bit of corporate dabbling, corporate websites updates and stuff. Like I remember working with a bank and updating their CD rates and things like that. It was like it was a little odds and end job for website design. That kind of came and gone, and then I moved to this company, EarthCam, which I think still exists. And I drove down to Hackensack to New Jersey from New York. And that was a bunch of months. That was my first kind of exposure to a quote famous kind of culture, like celebrity culture in a sense, because
Mm.
I'd be deployed to go work on cameras. Like it was early in the year. I only worked for a bunch of months. It wasn't very long, and uh, I went to Times Square to work on their web cameras there for the ball drop. So so they were going to broadcast that out to their website so people can all over the world tune in and see what it's like to be there and just be a wall, fly on the wall in the city. And I got exposed, I brought into where the ball was. I got into the building owner's kind of suites or whatever it was. And I met him, shook his hand. I was under 21 at the time. And the guy's like, you want some champagne? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to get you in trouble. I'm not taking it. And ended up going up to the roof, standing next to the ball. But the day before, it was really kind of a cool thing. But so I have that IT background working on the cameras, and then moved up to Cape Cod. And then I started working retail up there. So I was like working at Radio Shack. So it was a little nerdy, but
I
more
did
for
too.
old
Work at radio.
people. It's literally just serving old people at Radio Shack, trying to teach them how the freaking phone works.
How to put on a battery.
Oh my God, all batteries. It's all batteries.
Yeah.
Like they come in with their watch. I'm like, I can't touch it. Thank God we had like a jeweler next to us. I'm like, go over there. They'll open it up for you. I'm not touching your shit. But yeah, so it was that. And then as I'm working there's a home center across the street called Mid-Cape Home Centers. And there's various, like, it's a lumberyard, kind of like a mom and pop Home Depot in a sense. So it was local to the region, Cape Cod there. So we dude comes in, the main headquarters was there across the street. Well, one of them, that's where they had their IT stuff. So the dude's coming in, and I'm a little bit of I keep up with it. And the dude comes in, I talk shop. I'm like, oh, what do you use? Microsoft stuff, yeah, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And then he's like, yeah, you should come in for interview, positions opening later. So he kind of came and go on every now and then, grabbing like routers and stuff for their network. Like they just use home routers, Linksys stuff, and yeah, eventually I just landed a job in IT up there and just started working it. And that guy ended up leaving, and I had to fill his spot. So it just ended up, was like, okay, surviving the trenches in IT, but it's a bunch of like contractor guys who know shit. So they, you kind of are a legend because you know what you're doing. And then I met my ex-wife, moved down to Charlotte. And I worked for a corporate travel company down here in IT, went from desktop to server administration, got into the Twitch thing on the side because I was always a gamer.
Mm.
And I was like, oh shit, I got hooked up doing this stuff. And my people that I was gaming with got into the Arma 3 stuff, showed me that. And then I just kind of linked up with Lyric. And eventually I was looking at my PayPal balance. I'm like, dude, the money I'm making here is literally more than if I were to work. I'm like, what am I doing? I gotta quit. I need to dedicate more time to this. And it wasn't like I did it overnight. I did like 2 years of this, like full-time working, full-time streaming. So it's 9 to 5 work, 5 to like midnight, 1 a.m. on Twitch. And it was catching so hard, and it was a grueling life. And then my kid, I'm like, I gotta pick one. So, I was like, let's, if I could be home, hanging out with the kid, playing video games, streaming, it seems like a fun life, And then it just took off and gave it all up.
Was it easy for you to I mean, okay. How was it when you had to present this to your wife? Because I'm sure she might have
I bought her a kitchen. That was my presentation.
Oh, okay. Dude, you're a freaking goat, man.
I called it the twitching.
The Twitch. You call it tuition.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that's funny.
Yeah, it was like, but that was like, people don't know it. You can tell them stories all freaking day.
Yeah.
They don't know it until they see the material aspect of it sometimes. And it's like,
Yeah.
you can show them the number. It's like, dude, look at this. It's 10 grand in there, 20 grand, 30 grand. And you're like, here's a $40,000 kitchen. There you go.
There you go. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I bet
she's still enjoying that right now.
Get your ass back streaming. Get it back there streaming. What you doing outside?
Yep.
Wow.
But she understood eventually. I mean, brought her out to like TwitchCon, and she's showing her the lifestyle of like what the streamers are like, and it's a cool environment. She understood it eventually. She wasn't too involved, but she got it.
Yeah. See, my wife, it was very difficult for her because I tried streaming at one time, and then and I tell her it takes time. It takes time to grow. It's not going to be easy until something happens, that it gets blown out, and then it goes viral. And I try to, tell her a lot of these guys making a lot of money. But she's like, okay, but we got bills to pay and all this and that.
Mhm.
And then she couldn't kind of grasp it, because she's a Nintendo, woman. She just likes
Yep,
Nintendo, Mario, and she's like, "How can you make money playing off Mario?" I said, "It's not Mario. It's about, you know, other games. There's multiplayer, and then you got to be really good at it as well." And then I tried it for some times, but then it was my hours that were killing me. I had to do it early in the morning.
yeah.
And it was just like, honestly, I couldn't anymore. It was to a point I can't. So then I said, "You know what? Let me go to podcasting." And it was crazy because I got picked up by an wild card. But they had me as in a way as a content creator for them, but I wasn't big. But I worked in communications because I used to mod for over 30 pro players.
Okay, cool.
So they investigated that, and they found out that I modded for over 30 professional, pro players on Twitch. And they said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, listen, I I just look at, what they're doing in stream, and I'll tell them, look at the DMs. And they know when I say that, they stop what they're doing. They'll look because they take it very serious. I'll say, listen, watch out. You're in before you do something, you might go in violation against Twitch policy rules and this and blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, and they're like, "Oh,
Right.
crap." And I'm like, yeah,
Kind of keep them. Yeah, you're you're culturing the community in a sense,
Correct.
so people are safe. It's a safe space.
It's very safe, but it was more like making sure they don't do anything against Twitch.
right.
And
protecting the streamer and
exactly.
and kind of the messages they're allowing in the chat too, because someone might,
Well, he had, all these pros, they have tons of mods, and they just, they'll like to, some of them just like to ban people and for anything.
yeah.
And
I've had to get rid of some mods over the years, so I get it.
Oh, there was just like their egos and stuff. And I know they do their things, but I was doing something on the back end. So Wildcard picked me up. They put me as a Twitch specialist. So I used to mod for the pros for the org, and I give them priority. And I told them, listen, guys, just watch out. There's these new rules that came out. There's this and this and this and that. Just be careful with this on stream. Um, the reason why, because if they do something wrong, people will say, this player, this person from this org said
Right,
this.
the brand rep, yeah, absolutely.
So the org finds the obligation, they have to ban that person. They got to kick them out. And they don't want to fall, no org, wants to
Have you
fall
lost any
into.
people during that journey? Like,
No, actually, no.
no? Oh, that's good.
No. I know one person, I'm not going to mention his name, but everybody knows who it is. But he said a joke, but his mods didn't say, hey, wait, before you say the joke, tell it to me, and I will let you know if it's approval or not. He said a joke, it was a black and white joke, a race joke,
Yeah.
and it got out of proportion, and guess what? He lost his charm.
Yeah.
And
You kind of just smear your name, and sometimes it's
and it's a silly joke. It wasn't a really bad, kind of joke, but still people would take it,
you really
bad.
you got to understand the type of community you're culturing, and you have to understand what is an acceptable realm to stay within. In terms
Correct.
of humor, like if you're PG and family friendly, you can't touch that with a 20-foot pole.
You cannot.
If you're into some edgy stuff all the time, then maybe it might, people understand that that's kind of who you are, but it's that could ruin you if you're locked in on this. And when it comes to esports, that is a fairly professional type of demeanor, while it's maybe not always family friendly, because it gets you're swearing and talking shit and stuff. Yeah, so you have all that. So, but there's still a limit to like the representation you're bringing. But it's
correct.
A lot of people they forget what they're doing. They just think they're hanging out with people.
Yeah, they forget, and they'll talk, or they'll bring somebody in their game, or one of their buddies.
That's the most risky. Yeah, you gotta vet people when you're bringing them out.
You gotta be very, very careful with that. That's happens a lot, and I used to tell these guys, be very, very careful who you gonna bring on. First of all, let them know that you're streaming, so they could be aware. But still be very careful, because a lot of people, they just don't care about your brand. They don't care. And some, they could be envious, and they will just say something on purpose to screw you over and say, oh, it was a joke. And they say, yeah, but I was live streaming. Guess what? I got banned for it. And it's very risky, because these people, that's how they make their money. And these pro players, they depend on making some extra cash on the side by streaming. But if something goes wrong, they do something that they're not supposed to, they're going to lose. They're going to get banned.
I've got a strategy for things like that. If something were to ever happen, like, like pop open Discord or something like that, expose DMs, or someone says something, like there's all this stuff that could happen that you're like, unintentional, whatever it might be. I just end stream, delete VODs, restart stream. Because and because there's some times where you just get caught with your pants down. You're like, oh God, here we go. Now I gotta do some damage control. So while you never want to stop your stream, it's better to not have either, not get out. Like that's because that's that shows maturity in the game, that you're willing to forego success to make sure your content isn't something that you don't back or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to be.
I had to do that a few times. I had to do it the other day. I opened up Discord.
It's like, oh crap.
Because I did an update, video card update. Then it just loves to throw everything on your main screen when I have my second monitor. So I forgot I did that, and kind of just ran the stream. But Discord was minimized, so when I started the stream, I was listening to my desktop, and then I heard I saw that Discord had a flag open. It's like, oh, notification. I'm like, all right, we open it up, see who that was. Maybe they need something. Pop it up, boom, right in front of me. I was like, oh, here we go.
God.
Yeah, it was right on a DM too. I hate that.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's maybe that's now that I think about logically, I should probably just leave it on my general Discord, so never have to worry about it.
True, man. True. Yeah. So I did that for some time, and because all these proposers just freaking out. They don't want to get because if they get banned, because that gets posted, then
They
the
love the life. They
org,
don't want to lose it. Yeah,
yeah, the
absolutely.
org is felt obligated to make a post. Hey, we had to ban this person. This person said this and this and that. And then what happened is that other orgs will catch a drift of it, and then they're like, I don't want to risk that having that guy over because they
Yeah,
could get
you get
unbanned
that.
after a year. Then they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, I just found out just recently there was this person that said something. He said, the N word or something like this. And then the org actually, and he was like the top player of this org. And he got a year banned. And he even got what is it, PC ban. So he can even
Oh,
not
really?
play.
Couldn't even play
Yeah,
the
it,
game?
it was bad.
Oh no.
So I'm like, even if he gets unbanned, I highly doubt any org will probably pick him up because everybody's gonna associate that.
It's too. I mean, it's too much of a brand risk
Yeah,
associating with it. Yeah, you have that black
stigma.
flag on your
Yeah,
record, man.
on
It's
your
over.
record, and then the org picks him up. They're gonna say, "Oh well, this org is a racist org. They just picked up this racist person and it's bad." I'm like,
It's
there's
your
no
rap
way.
sheet, man. It's like in terms of it's like you think about it in real sense. You get arrested for some felony, and then you go try to work somewhere. They're like, we can't. We're not bringing you in. You got arrested for robbing people. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
So
and you want to
uh,
work at the bank?
yeah,
Like, what
exactly.
what
So
the
it's the
heck?
same thing, man. In market, this is all marketing in this
Yeah,
industry. So if you can't be marketable, or you are an anti-marketing type of individual, where it's like, it could ruin the brands that are trying to sponsor the group, then that's the money game. You're influencing the money game, and that's something that when it all comes down to it, that's what matters. And if you're a liability, man, they'd rather just not have to deal with it.
so true, man. So true. Now, have you ever played with your followers by any chance?
Followers, not as much recently, but I have done things like what I normally would do is these private servers, like Rust or Ark, all these kind of like survival builder types, Conan, whatever it may be. Like over the years, I'm trying to think of what they might. I think this new pirate game, Windrose, would be maybe one, but that's a little smaller.
Yeah,
Things like No Man's Sky, things where you can just get a bunch of people in one place, like up to
correct.
100 or something like that. I'll throw a server up and be like, all right, go on there. You guys can hang out with each other. I might pop in here and there, so it's not like I think that's the best way to do it. Like the smaller games, I usually stick with my homies because
Yeah,
I know who they are. It's like because with these community servers, you don't you know viewers, but there's a different dynamic when it
yeah,
comes to a viewer versus someone you casually meet as a peer through the industry, right? Because
correct.
when you meet them as a peer, you're talking to them or you're making the communication. You go from zero to whatever it is, and they may know you before, which could influence, and you got to be careful about that because people might try to it's not like catch on to your coattails, and they might have a different approach to the reason why they're talking to you. But some people
Mhm.
kind of casually bump into you and make things happen. Some people might know of you beforehand, but if they are decent people, it depends on what their motives are in terms of keeping that relationship going. So when it's a peer level, those are the ones I usually stick to when it comes to gaming, and especially on stream. But when it comes to like viewers, there could be like this parasocial aspect where they think they are more than they are with you, and when you bring them in, there's an awkward kind of like you could tell in terms of professional or personal relation. You can see that they are way more invested into you without the time invested with each other already. So it's kind of it gets a little weird. It can be like they think you're some sort of god or like a long lost friend or something like that, and it's like, nah, just you're cool dude, man, but I don't know a thing about you. Like there's
Yeah,
you're, but they know so much about you.
yeah. It becomes like we're kind of weird.
So
Okay, let me.
yeah, so it gets off on the wrong foot, and it feels really it kind of
Doesn't feel organic.
it's a lot of like you're kind of backed into a corner
Yeah,
sometimes. You're like, it's like, yeah, I don't. Sorry, man. That's just not how I can't really do it. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Appreciate you,
You,
but
you got a brand to protect. Now, some of those that you kind of like turn down, do they still stick with you, or do they just like screw you afterwards?
I just the thing is like you when you open up that avenue, you got to be careful when you open up that avenue of spending that time. So that's kind of why like the it's it love these guys and they're funny and from a chat aspect it's like I love having them around. I do send messages to some people because they do get a little out of line with
Mm,
the investment they bring. And I love people that invest in what's going on. Like that's great. Like they're passionate. I see the passion. If you're coming from a good place, that's great. Sometimes you let that good place take over to a point where it kind of overwhelms the person to where they become, no offense, it's like lack of a better word, obsessed with
mhm.
it, and that's where it gets unhealthy. So
Wow.
you got to be really careful when you open up that you know allowing the community to get involved.
Yeah, I got to be very, very careful. Very, very careful because there's been instance that people have done streaming with followers, and certain followers will just start donating like crazy, and then like, oh, can I join in? And the person feels kind of obligated. Man, he just donated like $50 or donated $100. Now I gotta go. Then they bring
Yeah, I
them
watch out
on.
for that stuff too,
Yeah, they
because
bring them on.
I want to take a quick moment and talk to you about Gamer Advantage eyewear. Whether you're gaming, working, or just browsing, with Gamer Advantage blue light blocking eyewear, they are expertly crafted for gamers or for anyone that's in front of a screen for long hours. Featuring Resme lens technology, these glasses are engineered to minimize digital eye strain and shield your eyes from the detrimental effects of blue light. Doctor recommended, potentially boost focus, and significantly enhance sleep quality, ensuring you stay at the top of your game. Visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code Rascals at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. I do earn a commission when you use the promo code, which helps sustain and grow the podcast. Once again, visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS Rascals at checkout to get 10% off your purchase.
And they start cussing and they'll say something like on purpose, and then it's like, oh crap, I can't do this, bro. Boom, and they had to kick them out of the game, and you can't say that I'm live, I'm streaming, and it's like,
the people
bro,
that give you money, you got to kind of watch out for. It's like what are they? Some people are just like they got a lot and they're just like, yo, this is hooking them up. This is a big deal. It's like kind of like somebody random at the bar, be like, yo, let me buy you a drink. And it's
yeah.
just, let's just hang out and just have a good time. Whatever. That's cool. Great. Some people, it's like, you are life changing. This is, you don't understand the impact you've had on my life. And like, I appreciate that. Like, I'm helping, but
Mhm.
it's like, here, take everything because, you know, you mean so much, and then it's like, dude, I'd rather you keep the money. I've had it, and then there's a point where some people become entitled because they're giving you so much money, and it's like, dude, this is voluntary, man. Like, just because you voluntarily, I have had a band somebody who's given like thousands of dollars before because,
Really?
yeah, because but he was just a complete ass, and he was
Wow.
always, he was just vulgar, and then vulgar's fine if it's comes from a good place, like I'm
Yeah,
from New
don't
York,
cross the
so
line, yeah.
but it was like hate started coming into play, and it was
Ooh,
like, dude, you need the hate and entitlement, and like that's the worst combination. So I
yeah.
was like, dude, he's like, oh, I gave you so much money, you need me, kind of stuff. I'm like, no, man, I don't need you. I'd rather get rid of someone that I don't appreciate, spreading this energy than take the money from you and, maybe buy a frickin' Xbox with it or whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather do without the Xbox. It's fine, man. Like, or whatever it is.
You know what
Yeah.
I say in those scenarios that you could like, for example, you could take your family out to the best steakhouse in the world.
Hmm.
And you're like, man, this is the best steak I mean, the steak is so good. You could cut it with a butter knife. That's
Hmm.
how tender. And it's the best steak. But then you get the worst server.
Oh yeah,
Rude.
it changes everything. Yeah,
It changes
absolutely.
everything. You will never go back. So you're like, screw that. I brought my in-laws, I brought my parents, I brought my kids to this best steakhouse, but they had the worst server ever. And they treated my parents and my in-laws rudely. I would never, ever, ever go back. One person could ruin the stream. One person. One person in
Yeah,
that chat could just ruin it. People are like, screw this. This person is trolling me,
yeah.
being rude.
It's a you have only moments to grab somebody's attention. If they're new, like if someone's new, because that's the game, man. You're always looking for someone new to come in and
Correct.
possibly, and hope it's a good impression where they want to come back, and then hopefully they'll stick
They
around.
follow.
But
Yeah.
even the casual come and goes are important because you get enough of those people, then you grow. So if they come in and they don't like what they hear. I mean, sometimes they just don't, they're just bored, it doesn't lock, and that's more on me. But if they are if there's something glaringly wrong with what's going on, that'll start shunning people away from your community too, on top of it. So you have the new people coming in, and then the people that and word travels, right? Like you can, someone might say something to their buddies, or they're part of the community in some aspect. You start, they carve out a community that's, understands their point of view, and then they're gone too. So it can have a ripple effect with it too. You gotta
Yeah.
so that's why I've kind of limited my approach, where it's not too out there and it becomes a bit more reserved and safe. So there's a reverse aspect to it, where if you become too safe and like, you still have to be kind of entertaining and passionate with what you're doing. But if you become too safe, like that's also can be bad too, because you just kind of a nothing burger at that point,
Correct.
like, so
Can't
that's the other side of
can't
it.
be too safe either. But I mean, you gotta have a little bit of leverage. But you would know in your heart, your gut feeling, you would know who you could trust and who you could,
Oh
bring
yeah,
on.
'cause you got to
That
take
happen.
risks, right? That's the only way to
You gotta
make
take
it.
risk, yeah. But I mean, couple of my buddies were like, okay, hey, who could I bring on? I'm missing. I need a fifth. And I'm like, well, I could count with my fingers. So I could
Yeah,
tell you there's only two people, a couple people,
that you could
and
vouch for, and it's your
that
name
could
too. When
vouch
you
for.
vouch for somebody, it's your name on the line as well. Like you
Yes.
gotta,
Oh my
because if they mess
gosh.
up, they're like, "What the hell?
Oh, this is
You just
Jeff's
brought him
friend,
in."
he screwed me over. He brought a Jeff's friend. Oh, don't ever bring that guy over. If Jeff tells you, bring somebody, don't listen to him, and I don't want that. So I'm really, really usually the people that I bring on or I recommend, they have value to their name, so they don't want to get ruined. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's your
they
name.
don't want
Yeah,
to be
your name
jeopardized.
is everything.
Yeah.
It's literally everything.
One of the guys that I vouch for, and he's a professional skateboarder. So he gets sponsored by clothing wear and all this stuff, skateboards, even shoes and stuff. So he cannot whatsoever, do anything bad online, because if that spreads out, he will lose his sponsors.
Right.
And he gets these, tickets to go travel to Japan, do some stunts over there. But he comes and he's a hardcore gamer. He doesn't stream, but he's a hardcore gamer. He's really good at, a lot of games, and he plays Rainbow Six Siege a lot. So, but he plays other games as well. But he's very, very friendly, but a person that I know that I could trust, and I know he won't do anything because he has a reputation to stick up to, and he has, he doesn't want to lose sponsors. So those are people that I kind of like recommend. I even have a couple of pro players on Rainbow Six Siege pros, and I have some, Halo pros as well.
It's also good. It's good in the aspect of trying to vet people. If you know they have brand representation,
Mhm.
you understand that they kind of understand the
Yes.
game in a sense on what's acceptable. Because, it's like, oh, this guy's sponsored by like Monster or something like that. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, well, that's kind of a big brand. They
That's
don't
a
want to
very
ruin that
yeah,
relationship. So, they're going to be a bit more careful than the average Joe.
correct.
But, that's not as common in,
Mhm.
when it comes to the smaller levels, which, I'm kind of inching my way that direction. But, I'd either dig one way or the other. So it's, so you gotta, when you get towards the bottom a bit more, that's when shit gets way more risky.
Yeah.
And when you get a bit higher up, like you can feel a bit more comfortable. But even so, you still hear these horror stories about people just kind of going off the deep end, and you're like, oh God, thank God I didn't really spend too much time with that guy. It's like, that could,
Yeah,
you never know, because that could retrospectively get you too, right? Like,
correct. Of
you
course.
maybe you might be fine hanging out with them for a month or two or whatever, playing games, but later on down the line, could be some scandal or whatever
Oh
whatever
god.
happens where they end up having this huge issue with somebody or something or brand or whatever it may be or what they said. And it's like then they start digging on the guy and they start seeing who you spent time with him, and then you kind of guilt by association. So you got to be careful.
Correct.
You never know. You got to really. It's a tough thing, and I think through what I do in role play, you kind of you understand, like, it's all talking to new people, understanding who they are, like kind of doing that quick evaluation on them to see, is this guy cool, or is he entertaining, is he kind of like, you kind of doing interviews all the time with who you're going to spend your time with, in a sense, to qualify them for the future. So you get this kind of internal, like, database of people you're willing to work with. And but yeah, sometimes they get you, man. You don't normally, you don't see it because,
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Well, look what happened with Dr. Disrespect,
right?
he,
Yeah, I mean, who would have? I mean, but
oh my
like,
god.
let's be real.
Yeah.
You look at the guy and you're not surprised. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But
because
how
he's
many
so
people
full of himself. Yeah, it's
had a dissociation? They had to say, "I don't agree with this. I'm not gonna be friends with this guy no more." They had to post that out. They had to make videos. Tim the Tapman, Nick Merckx, all these people had to like, "We're not with this. We don't agree with this. I'm not following them no more. I'm done."
yeah,
They had to do that immediately because
right.
everybody would, "Oh, wait, you're his buddy. You guys play together."
That's a tough
And
thing to do because they
ooh,
realize they're gaining a lot of success by collaborating.
correct.
And it's like, all right, I got to make a choice here. Do I want to back this guy because I think he's got something, or is it just too much and I can't associate? And you gotta, like, kind of gotta draw that line. They want to see that line drawn. Everybody's looking. It's like, oh, you haven't said anything about this. What do you
Yeah.
know?
What's going on here?
Yeah, well, yeah. So they start getting in your face about it. And you're like, all right.
One of my buddies that I brought on the pod, and we still keep in contact. I have his number and everything, and is Robert Boland.
Mhm.
You know who he is?
No.
Robert Boland is one of the how was it? One of the guys that I think he's the big dev, one of the big guys from Call of Duty, and and he was the big chief of that new game that was going to come out that was under uh the game that actually Dr. Disrespect was sponsoring a lot. It was in
Oh, okay.
development. Yeah. So they had to fire Disrespect and get him out. And then still that stigma was so horrible that they had to close
Wow,
factory,
really?
man. Yeah,
Well,
it was
that's the thing
sad.
too. Sometimes you put all of your eggs into one person too. So, like, if the reason why uh your brand or product or whatever it is gaining success or service, whatever it might be, is all backed off of one individual,
Right.
and that person is gone at that point, your brand goes with it. There's no, like,
Yeah.
you're literally hamstrung to the success of that person.
I think they tried to do something, but it was just like it was too tough. They couldn't make it survive, and I didn't try to get so
Happens
much
with
into
games
that.
a lot too.
Yeah, just didn't wanna, get into much of in his business. I respect people's privacy, but I was kinda concerned. I said, "You're my friend, and you're a really nice guy, and I'm sad to see this happening. Can there be another person?" They said, "We're just all analyzing. We're trying to look into this," and all of a sudden, we had to close the factory. Like, it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
it
you think
was a
about
bummer.
like games, right? You have one prominent streamer that plays your game, or
Yeah.
content creator, influencer, what do you want to call them? You know, and that person's just like, I'm done with your game, man. I just, it's not doing it for me anymore. It's like you could see the community's not feeling it anymore, and they start leaving. And you're like, I gotta transition to something else. And
Oh,
even though they
yeah.
may not have like a professional relationship in that sense, the company's backing or whatever it may be. Once they go, there's no new exposure to the game, and it just kind of falls out sometimes. Sometimes the game is great and it's got like say something like PUBG. There's really
Mhm.
not a lot of streamers playing it. It's a very successful game. They've made it work. They've made it work. And it's massive in Asia where it's, you have this huge following on the game itself. So they don't really need the content creators for it because it's just a game that people like to play where it's, gotten so big that it's self-sufficient. And
Correct.
that's a lot of word of mouth, and it just becomes like Coca-Cola at that point where you don't need to even tell anybody what it is anymore. Everybody knows what it is. But
Yeah.
then you have these other games, a lot smaller, a lot like, and you see this a lot with new games. Um, like I don't even know. All these new games that get released, you'll have a lot of creators jump on it, it gets successful, and then it starts trickling off. Like if you're looking at Arc Raiders, it was a huge collaborative backing. It blew up big. Everyone was excited for it, waited for the release, finally got released. Got that couple play tests in there, got big. Everyone was excited for it. The gameplay is fun. And then you got all these big streamers people, and Burnt Peanut comes out of nowhere, takes over. He's big.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of done with it. So, and now if you look at like something like Steam DB, um, I'll just pull it up real quick. Our creators, let's see, how are they doing? If you look at the charts for this, where it was pulling 480,000, it's slowly trickling. Like last week it was about 100,000. This time this week it's at like, 90, 82,000. So you start seeing this,
Yeah.
they kind of trickle out, and while that's still great, and this is probably enough for them, like they've already hit, that's enough to kind of propel them for anything else in the future. You kind of have to sustain, and eventually it kind of, is on its way, man. It's just the lifespan of it.
Yeah. Do you think that the games that usually pull off many years, like Rainbow, like Counter-Strike, they have to be multiplayer games, like competitive multiplayer games versus other games like
It,
story mode in a
it
way?
really depends. Single player games are always going to have a shelf life. The one exception I would say is something like Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that, where it does have this multiplayer aspect where you have being able to play with your friends, and that being in a, it's got like that D&D type of the experience changes every time you do it. That can kind of make it a thing, but if it's a very linear type of single player game, you're gonna beat it and forget it. It's like watching a movie once, right? So, when you have it all comes down to what is the experience when you do it again, right? Because
Mm.
and you attribute things like modding, that's gonna change the experience, or, bringing in more people to it, so the experience might be different with the players you're playing with, or the game itself might just play differently when you go back to it. So, when you have something like a competitive game, the experience is different because it's the players and the encounters you're gonna have every single time you step into the ring. So, and if you're really good, then obviously that's the attraction for, making it as an influencer. And I always say, like, there's two types of influencers. There's ones that are good and then ones that are entertaining. Sometimes you're, an anomaly and you're both. And those
Mhm.
are the ones that really do well. But,
Correct.
it really depends. That's the big thing though. What is the experience when you go back? And, That's why I love games that have voice, because the voice thing adds this whole different level to the game. It's the human interaction. It's the element of that. Like, that's why podcasts, I'm sure it's like, because you don't know who, like, you don't know the chemistry, the dynamic, or what,
Correct.
what's going to happen.
Hmm.
So it creates a, intrigue.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true, because in podcasting, that happens a lot.
Yeah,
You
it's
could tell
everything.
immediately, like, in the first few minutes. I mean, with the experience I have in podcasting, I already would know how the podcast is gonna go, how the conversation is gonna, you know, flow and everything, and if I have to make it shorter, etcetera. There's some that you just, like, it will flow like wine. I mean, it's,
Mhm.
like, freaking phenomenal, and it's all about chemistry.
Really
Um,
is.
is all it
Because
is.
that's all. Because that's what you want. You with a podcast, you want a good conversation. You want something that people
Yeah,
are going to be interested in hearing, and it's and when it clicks, like those are the
yeah.
those are the those are the those are the gems right there. And it
Those
can
are the
come out of
ones.
nowhere. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I got something planned out in the future, but I'll let you know after the after
Oh,
the
cool.
pod.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got something planned out, but,
So what are you doing to get yourself out here, like out there, instead of just kind of
to
keeping
be
throwing it up in
really
the same place? Are you doing either like shorts and stuff for it?
honestly, no, I'm
You
gonna start
should.
doing
You
shorts.
should. You really should. I think that's the game right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing shorts. I'm gonna start, doing more on TikTok. I just opened up a TikTok not too long ago.
I would do it. It's
Um,
so big, and you can, like, if you don't do the editing very well, just throw it into like an AI thing, and it'll scan your entire audio.
yeah,
It'll
it
read
does
into it.
it.
It'll translate it, and it'll also do like smart analysis to it, where it'll be like, this is a really good topic. You should throw this up there.
Correct.
And it just takes the legwork out of it. I mean, yeah, it may not be handcrafted, and it loses that human element too, but it's still going through the human element to find what's
Correct.
good. So, and I mean, I pop on TikTok and doom scroll once in a while, and a lot of times I'll hear, like, radio shows pop up, and it's like they have this, it's like this prank call to somebody, or
Oh, yeah.
like the War of the Roses or something like that. It's like, you won a free bouquet of flowers, who do I give it to? And then it's got the, like, get a girlfriend on the line or something like that. So
Like
it
the
does.
Gooble Dooble or whatever his name is.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I tried to invite him. I'm gonna I reached out to him. Hopefully he'll bite and come onto the pod. That'd be phenomenal.
But that's it. Like, but you
Yeah.
could do your own. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
this is an industry that, if you're with esports or just
Yeah.
influencers, and you're trying to, pick people's brains, I think, it'd be good to
Well,
hear that side of it.
what I had to do with the podcast is I started off. I rebranded a couple times. The first I started off with a Dr. VTech show.
Hmm.
But the only people that knew me by Dr. VTech are a couple of my buddies on, people from Halo, and then the majority all on Rainbow Six Siege. So when I start reaching out to other people from different games, they're like, I don't know who you are. So I had to explain to them everything. And then they're like, okay, I'll consider it. Then I switched it to the Esports Lounge podcast. There, it went a little bit broader, went a little bit wider. That's when Summit came on, but Summit came on through a friend. I met him through a friend, etc. So he came on the Esports Lodge. Then I noticed that esport podcast is really not big. To be honest, you go to the charts and you'll look, those podcast esports, they're very, very low. And then a buddy of mine said, listen, you get along with everybody. Everybody gets along with you. You're very friendly, all this and that. Why don't you just do one like Joe Rogan? Just go bring everybody. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do that, because there was a moment in time that I was actually I quit when I was in the esports launch podcast. And I just, like, I'm done with this, because it's getting really complicated. Trying to bring people in, it was really hard. And then a lot of these pro players, they're very young. Some are like 20 years old, 19 years old, 21, 22, and they just, like, they don't appreciate the aspect of podcasting. So I kind of quit for like a month or two or so, or three, and then I had people just DM me, man, I miss your podcast. Can you come back on? Can you do this? And that kind of made me feel good, in a way. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
dang,
yeah, that's great. No, it's
that
feel yeah,
feels
because
good.
you want to feel like what you're doing has some
Yeah,
value, and so to me, because it means a lot to you. You want to like that.
correct.
Some people appreciate it
They
too. Yeah.
they appreciated the work, and then I said, you know what? And then, let me think about it. And I talked to a friend of mine. And he says, dude, just do like a Joe Rogan that brings everybody. Like a Theo, he'd bring everybody. And scientists, doesn't matter, just start bringing people. And I said, you know what? Let me start doing that. So I did. And that right there just grew even more.
You
So
got to
I
branch
brought this,
out. Yeah, you
yeah,
get too niche, it just doesn't always hit. Yeah,
I brought this doctor. She's done stem cell research, and we were just talking about stem
that's cool.
cells and all this stuff. And it was like, wow, like, teach me, educate me. And people will listen to the pod, and they were like, man, they're getting, all this education, all this stuff that you learn that you just don't know about people in the political realm as well. There's a mayor that he was a former mayor. He's a gamer as well,
Oh, cool.
streamer. And we'll talk a little bit about politics and talk about a couple other things. Um, so this young guy, also he's running for a big position in his state. So it's it was fun. When it comes to politics, you bring them on, you got to be neutral. You can't stick on one side or
Yeah,
the
you got to be
other.
careful.
You got
That's
to be
so very
very careful.
polarizing. Like I try to
Oh,
keep politics out because
oh
it's
yeah,
I mean, if people are expecting that as a
yeah,
thing, then it's kind of inferred at the start. So it's like, all right, this is going to be a political thing.
yeah. This is
So
gonna be
it's not
political.
always like that, but it's this
No,
today maybe.
so I try to be like very non-biased. Listen to both, points of views and just get it, and then talk about a little bit about their lives and stuff like that.
I gotta
I
be
have,
careful with that myself because it's so you can see how polarizing it is, and
yeah,
if I'm like backing whoever then
correct.
and it's like, oh, you are this,
You're this.
I am
That's it.
not that, I don't like them, I'm out, and it's like, and then you just divide your community in half, and you're like, all
It
right,
it
well,
it
goodbye.
it sucks because nowadays I feel freedom of speech is so limited. You don't have the freedom of choice. You don't have a freedom of an opinion.
Yep.
I could say, okay, I agree with this, but I disagree with this. And then, people just like judge you for that and say, wait, I cannot have an opinion. This is just an opinion. My opinion is not going to change, the point of view of the government. They're not going to, well, because Jeff said, he agrees that this should be legalized and this shouldn't, and we should they're not going to do it. It's
No,
just an
no.
opinion. But nowadays, you just got to like be very careful. So, when it comes to bringing in people in that realm, I'm really cautious, so
But it's a good approach though. I mean, I'll be honest, like so if you know work than me, like the fact that Summit jumped on, I was like, all right, then he's already stamped it. But that's a
yeah.
huge thing. That's a huge thing for you because now that you have this back in a sense where someone's willing to spend the time with you. If you go to somebody else and be like, hey, I did this podcast with him and this guy, they're a part of your group, like this industry. And sometimes you got to put feelers out to those that might be, outside of the realm. But seeing as, someone like Summit has kind of given the time and he's at a certain level, you can now start reaching out to people
Oh
all
yeah.
across Twitch now because they know he's OG, not only esports, but he's OG Twitch. And
Yeah.
he's very well connected at the top where it's, you can now put those
Well,
feelers out and
honestly,
people would, respect it.
it helped out a lot because I even have a game developer that's going to come on pretty soon. And for this game that they have their demo out. I don't want to mention it now. I want to mention it afterwards because it's a little bit more like a surprise. But
Okay.
I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
post it on. I'll let you know after. But and I
Okay.
was like, I don't think this guy's gonna come on, and he was like, yeah, I'll come on. Let's do it because he already
You'd be surprised. Yeah. Yeah. Go
he
for
saw
it.
all these pro players and saw a lot of these big names as streamers, content creators that come on the pod, and probably I'm sure once he saw Summit, he's like, oh yeah, I'll come on. So
But that's good though, man. Like you
yeah,
have, you got it's this. And he's great. He's willing to give anybody a shot, and that is why Summit's
yeah,
amazing. He is so
yeah.
good for that. Like he can really appreciate people and not who they are in the grand scheme of success.
I passed that forward for what he did for me. Well, yeah, it was him and also a coach uh, for Rainbow Six Siege. This coach named Super. He was a coach for Sonics, and now he's for Shopify Rebellion because Sonics is no longer
Yeah,
in Rainbow
Shopify's huge right now.
Yeah, so he's a coach, Seth Hoffman, really nice guy. I reached out to him. I said, Seth, I'm gonna do my first episode. I don't know who to bring. I'm a little bit, I need somebody. You think you come on? And he said, sure, let's do it. And I was like, really? I'm like, dude, okay, fine. I was a nervous wreck. I wasn't talking like I am now, stuttering and
Yeah,
left
you
and right.
settle in, man. Yeah, eventually
Yeah,
you settle in.
he came on 2 times, and it was really cool. It was really fun. He helped me out, open up the door and build that bridge on the rainbow side. And then with Summit, obviously he'll open up a really big door as well. So it takes time, and it's honestly it's really cool. It's fun. But yeah, it comes to a point that, it could grow more and more and more. So I got certain things that I have planned out for the future.
Think about it. It's a good it's a YouTube channel I kind of got turned on by recently, or turned on to. Diary of the CEO. Have you ever seen him?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
fantastic. But it just it shows you the level of where you can get to. If you follow this philosophy of it, of hey,
His style is very unique, just so you know.
he's good, and he's so
He's-
normal. Like he's such a
Yeah.
normal guy. Like, but
Yeah.
he's a smart and considerate, and he hits the right questions where you get, he understands his guests. He understands where they come from, what they do for the world, and really picks their brain on the cool issues or whatever they got to bring there. He's hitting them all, but it's cool to see the types of people he brings in. I'm sure it started a lot lower.
Yeah.
Where it could be a CEO of like a contracting firm or something like that. And
Correct.
it's, he started maybe at that level and he really picked the brain of an expert to the point where the experts were bigger names and eventually had their followings that come along with it.
I got one person that reached back to me, and it's one of the man, I can't say name yet because
Yeah, don't want to spoil it. Yeah, absolutely.
but I'll let you know after the podcast.
Yeah, all good.
So,
all good.
This guy is like, let's say for an example, he's like Jamie for Joe Rogan. You know
Okay,
Jamie?
yeah.
So
Yep,
Joe's like, hey Jamie, pull this up for me. One of those guys like that is gonna more likely come on the pod. He's like,
Sweet.
sure, man. Super busy, so he is part of a really big podcast. It's like, dude, that
Might
would
not
be
even
the
hurt to
work.
have one of your own in a sense, to kind of be like, oh, he's talking about something I know you don't really know too much about. Let me give you some info on it. Let me, and then he just delivers you some sort of like talking sheet on it where it's like, oh, cool, I didn't know that, and then you can bring up some cool points about it.
Correct. So
yeah, have a third guy who's just kind of lurking, that's just feeding you shit. That'd be cool. I think that'd be a
really
good evolution if someone wants to kind of jump in once in a while.
Well, that's when the podcast gets really big, you're gonna need it, like most definitely.
Yeah, but why wait? Why wait? Here's the thing. Why wait? Because the thing is, it's all about what you're talking about. So
Correct.
if you're hitting some really cool topics that might end up going on a short or something like that, that's like, oh, cool. I just because my homie, my assistant here, just gave me this major talking point
pulled it
that's
up,
relevant,
yeah.
current, and I just nailed it. Just throw it out there, and that could catch. You never know.
Yeah.
I love building a machine. That's like I love building the machine on this stuff. So.
Really?
Yeah, it's something that tickles my brain. I love it.
Yeah.
I like to see the different kinds of avenues. I'm not big into podcasting, but I see what, like, what kind of gets out there and what works, because you gotta, if you follow anything on other avenues like TikTok, YouTube, because that's like Diary CEO. I found out about them. Was in there's all these different places where you hear about these podcasts that they, what's working for them and what's making, why are they getting 20 million views on something?
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, unfortunately for me, YouTube is like the worst.
Mhm.
To be real honest, I've been debating even to close that channel down.
People wanna
People
look at stuff, so you need
People tell me,
video.
"Don't do it, don't do it." I've said, "Man, I don't even have a follower." I think about 15 followers. I mean, it's horrible. I don't promote it much. I haven't spent the time on it. There was this person that reached out to me and said, "Listen, I can make it grow really big." But, obviously, they
Yeah,
require a
I get
fee.
messages like that all the time,
You
man.
gotta
It's you don't know who's good.
I don't
It's hard to vet
know.
that. That's like this random guy's like, "I do YouTube editing." It's like, nah.
Yeah, I'm just like, "Oh, man, how much do you want?" And they want a lot of money as well, and I'm like, "Oh."
My philosophy on if someone wants to grow a small channel, they gotta be in for the long game, and they have to
Yeah.
understand you may not have something there to pay for it. And I'm not digging out of my daughter's money to just pay
Mm,
somebody I have no faith in. If you wanna dedicate your time to throw content out there, I'll let you take over. I'll let you take half the monetization of it. Once
yeah,
if it does come down to it where the channel's big, we'll have to reconsider what our contract is because I'm the one that's getting the names and it's my brand that's helping back you. So, that
correct.
commission rate might change, but in the beginning, just here's a 50-50, go ahead. And if they're cool with that for the future planning, I mean, they're going to have to put some risk out there. I put the time in to get to where I am. I mean, you can't just, latch on and just expect me to just pay you. Like, no, I worked I got here through hard work, time and effort to be where I am today over 10 plus years. Just because you showed up out of nowhere doesn't mean because you get to charge me 300 an hour. No, get out of here.
Yeah. So true, man.
People
Um,
don't understand that though. They
yeah,
just want the quick buck, and it's like those are the types that I just disqualify.
yeah, you gotta yeah, see, yeah, so yeah, podcasting, and also I noticed that with podcasting, it's sort of like a streamer in a way because you got to build a chemistry with your listeners and your followers. Um, if you're come across, certain way and they just don't like you, they won't listen to you whatsoever. They won't.
Yeah, no,
I know
you
some
gotta have
people that
something. Yeah,
that think podcasting is competition. I'm like, what are you talking? This is not competition. I'm competing against myself, and I got to make
that's how
sure
it
I bring
is.
good people that people will listen to, people that will be interesting, and people will just click on and listen. But if I don't, in a way, build a connection with my listeners, and they don't like me who I am, they find me arrogant or whatever, they're not gonna continue no matter who I bring on, no matter who I bring on. Um, I know some people that Joe Rogan has gone to their podcast and you don't even probably even never heard of those people, it's like, "He went on this podcast." I was like, "Really? I never heard of that guy."
They do have that Midas touch though, man. When they
Yeah.
come in, it's just
Oh,
if they
yeah.
back you,
If they
they just
back you,
hit
yeah.
gold. You just hit gold. That's just how it is with a lot of these different like content creators, influencers. It's like one of those, they vouch for you, and then their people are then completely gonna back you forever. You'll have diehards forever because of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so true. So true. I think chemistry is really, really, really important. It's like that's one of the things that when I had Summit on, I noticed it's just the chemistry. And I'll bring on anybody, they have a good rapport, the good chemistry. I don't care if they have 50, 100 followers. I don't look at that stuff. I just look at that, this person's a nice person, is really cool, legit, really nice. Fine, give them a chance. Come on a podcast. Let's talk. Um, there's a community, a group of people, they're growing, and they're like the NASCAR racers for, esports.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, "Dang,"
What,
top
iRacing?
iRacing, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Man, wow," I brought 2 of them, pro players, and it was just like, They're phenomenal. It's like, dude, this is so freaking
Yeah, I
sick.
think Brad Keselowski was backed by Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Correct.
And he was big in the iRacing thing, and he transitioned into being a fantastic NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
And he held it down, like he was able to make that transition to a physical sense, and it's crazy how these simulators actually are pretty close to reality, and it's
Correct.
only going to get better, especially with AI and being able to analyze physics, to be able to transfer that kind of general knowledge of physics to a simulation where it becomes almost one-to-one a reality. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a different sense because you have the heat and the wind force and all that, the
Right.
G force, all that kind of stuff that you don't feel
Mhm.
in a virtual environment. But it's cool to see when that does transition from gaming into a real sense.
Sure, man. What's your thoughts on with AI now with getting into the gaming industry and
AI's it's that uncertainty that's kind of unsettling, but it's also kind of exciting because because everyone's worried about losing jobs, right? And like, cause that's your
right?
security blanket, and having the money and all that kind of stuff. It's a good thing in a sense if you're using it for a tool for good and something that's going to help bolster who you are to kind of get the things you want out of information. But sometimes it's used for bad, where it's like, all right, I'm going to set up bot farms and fool people, or just kind of who knows really what it's going to end up doing. But
Yeah.
it's you can see it with like customer service, like it's all AI bots, or content creation in general, where it's just literally one guy in a corner just generating stuff, putting it out there like an Instagram model or something like that. And it's just completely AI. It's some 50-year-old, fat dude in the basement just and it's deceiving. And
Yeah.
that's what I don't like, that's kind of so if it's used for a tool for information, I think it's good. If it's used as the primary individual, as being the AI is the personality and the brand, that's where it starts getting a little sketchy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of like noticed that at the Games Award when Expedition 33 won, there was a big, humongous thing with I forgot the name of the game. They actually stripped them from their award because it was a completely 100% AI on their game or something like that. I forgot which game was it.
Yeah, what is it? Was it Crimson Desert, I think recently got kind of exposed for something.
Yeah,
They had like a couple like placeholder like paintings in the game or something like that. It was AI generated. And was it a quote placeholder? I don't know. Maybe they just kind of did that and just expected it to get through, or maybe they did actually forget and just never replace the assets. But even that, just having the stamp AI in there somewhere, even if 99% of it is generated
handcrafted. Yeah,
based off of hard work and effort, you have that one little thing that you get stamped as a. But it's early right now in terms of the
yeah.
grand scheme of AI, because I don't see AI ever going away.
I
It's
don't see it
it's
either.
it's it is going to advance us. I'm a big science guy, so
Hmm.
I follow a lot of what Elon Musk is doing, and him wanting to do a big AI data center in space. Which
Really?
it's awesome. It's actually great because he's like, here, number one, the cost is lower because you don't have to do elemental types of protections where you have glass or any of this stuff. You can, and the efficiency is better because it's always sunny in space, right? Like, because you have this whole solar power generating,
Correct.
and he's going to be just dropping all the solar power generation, and have the data clusters are going to be kind of attached to that. uh Reusable rockets getting sent up there, so it's going to be cheaper than trying to maintain it on Earth. To the point where he wants to put it to the moon. This um terrafab, I think he's calling it, where he wants to get it on the moon, where you just propel it off without having, through magnets and stuff. He's just going to shoot these satellites and things one after the other, just off of just accelerating it out of orbit. And it's insane to think of. And then he's doing this whole microprocessor type of thing where he's building the big terafab, this whole like, he couldn't get these deals to a perfect level with these microchips, trying to, like whether AMD or Nvidia or whoever it is, trying to build these microprocessors to come up with a deal to make this project work. He's like, screw it, I'm just gonna make my own. And then he has this whole now manufacturing chain to make it work, where it's all in one place. So
Wow.
I
never knew about that. So is he trying
look
to
into it? It's really interesting.
Is he
look
trying
at
to,
everything, Elon, to see where his brain's at with this, because all of his companies fit together in a way. So whether Tesla, his cars with the AI driving, self-driving, into robotics, he wants to get people like that so they can then use those robots to work on this project on the freaking moon, which then and building the logic and X is his way of telling the world about it. So it's it's insane.
I didn't know about that. So is he trying to build this? He's trying to build it on the moon itself, because I mean, obviously, he needs the solar powers. Yeah, he will get the energy off there.
Yeah, it's all solar power. So, and that's the thing. Like, you're not going to have the glass, or I don't know, or like protecting from rain or heat and stuff like that. It's also natural cooling because it's in space. It's cold as hell. So,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about nearly as much cooling with like air or water or any of that kind of stuff. It's just the temperatures are naturally so much lower that you can then just work it off of just heat sinks and the cold of the of space. So it's interesting in that sense.
Wow.
So he just wants to set up thousands and like hundreds of thousands and he just wants his goal is to harness as much of the energy as the sun and put it towards AI and just send as much compute as you can to this platform where it's just accelerating knowledge, and we become some sort of he has his hands on the mega brain.
Wow.
Insane. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I would have never thought of that. This guy just has a brain like just nonstop.
Yeah, and honestly, I think and as odd as he is a very like socially awkward guy. And anytime you watch him, you can see it. But you can see he does come from a decent place. Is everything perfect? Probably not. But, I think in general, the general good is there to the point where he wants to protect humanity. And that's, that's his goal, is to make sure we become a multiplanetary species. So if one of those planets sort of blow up, we still got humans.
Yeah. Because I think he's trying to do something also in Mars. He wants to build something in Mars.
Oh, yeah, wherever he can go. He's literally he's trying to be Christopher Columbus of space.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I didn't know about the data center. That'd be freaking wild.
Yeah, look at Terafab. It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, he
shows like a video of like a magnetized track where like it just like a railgun in a sense. So it's a magnetized track where he's going to load up a satellite and just perpetually accelerate it out of orbit, and then you don't need rocket fuel or anything. It's insane. It's awesome. It's such a I think that kind of stuff. That's what inspires me. I love the idea of just something new and exciting and different.
Man, I'm trying to look at here that the temperature in space. I mean, he won't need a cooling system whatsoever.
Right. I mean, it's free. A human pops out of the airlock, man. They're frozen instantaneously.
Yeah, that's like what, negative something 274 Celsius. What?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why do you don't need cooling if you have all your electronics up there? The only thing you got to worry about is like solar radiation, stuff that could fry your stuff based off of that kind of stuff. So you get that figured out, you're good.
Yeah, I think
he's in the space program, so he's already developed probably things that shield from that.
That is freaking crazy. I mean, he has Starlink. I mean, hello, he's providing internet for people all over
I
the
know
world.
people are on airplanes getting like 400 meg down. It's insane. It's insane.
Jeez.
Absolutely insane. The only
Yeah.
thing you got to worry about is latency, right? Because I mean, you
Mhm.
can't go faster than the speed of light when it comes to data transfer. So, you know, from here to the moon, it might be like 6 seconds. So, or however many, maybe even lower. I'm not too sure. Whatever the speed of light is from here to there. So, you know, when it comes to like to go across the entire planet, it's about 100 milliseconds. So at its fastest point, so maybe 60 or 50 if you're going halfway. So so you're never gonna get below 50 milliseconds delay when you go from one side of the planet to the other. So when you go to, you know, when it comes to real time AI, you may be able to do all the processing for the knowledge and then port it back down to the planet. Then you have all of that information database on hand where you then can make the latency lower. But it's that's the tech brain of me. So
So what type of what's the speed of Starlink right now?
speed of Starlink. Well, I don't know exactly, but I did see someone on a plane was getting like 400 megs down. They did a speed test. Now I don't know about the upstream, but the downstream it was like 400. So maybe it's even higher. Who knows? I can't see it not being as high as he wants it eventually. If you
Yeah.
can hit 400, that's gigabit levels in terms of uh kind of high T. Well, I guess maybe not because it's not going over the wire. So it's who knows?
Yeah, there's a I'm looking over here on ChatGPT. It's saying typical Starlink speed downloads 50 to 220 megabytes for most people. I'm not saying everyone. Um,
It's probably the tech on the satellite they're hooked up to.
correct. In some cases, people have hit 150, 300. Wow, that is fast. That is
Anyway,
good.
just existing on the surface of the planet, or maybe it's probably it's probably better above it because you don't have the cloud interference and you're closer.
Imagine he gets it to the speed of fiber.
I don't see it not hitting that. I mean, you figure if it's light, I mean,
Mhm.
fiber is light, so
Correct.
you're transferring light and data through that. So if you're hitting light, it's just a matter of how good quality is the light reception of it. So whether you blast more light or you you know, you clear the air a little bit or figure out a way to like ignore the things in the way.
Man, that's freaking crazy. I never knew that. And I
Yeah.
follow up on a lot of stuff that he puts out, but I mean, a lot of,
Terrafab's newest an announcement with the whole microchip processing plant. They're going to be doing GPUs, or I think they're doing CPUs, memory, and I think they're doing the whole gamut because you need three aspects. You need CPUs, GPUs, memory
for what?
for processing for AI.
Oh, really? For
Yeah, and obviously,
okay.
and then
Yeah, the
storage,
GPU.
which
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
goes with the memory side of it.
Wow. That is freaking crazy. Man,
Yeah,
I
right.
should
So if you make it yourself, like you're self sufficient, you could do the sky's the limit again.
the crazy thing about it, he's a freaking gamer as well.
Yeah, he plays Diablo 2. Yeah, I know.
He
It's
freaking
so
likes
funny.
Ark. I mean, he's like, what the heck? He loves Ark.
With the dinosaur game or Raiders?
Ark Raider, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
Raiders. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
I,
I mean, he's
he goes,
with the current aspect. I mean, you can see Gabs with Asmongold. Gabs a gamer, but it's turned politics. So
yeah,
he's current.
Ollie,
He is a very current person, which
yeah,
is cool to see.
I respect a lot
Because you
Osmond.
see a lot of these big names like corporation leads or politicians, and they're just so out of fucking touch. It's sorry, I don't know if I'm swearing, my bad.
No, you're
But
good to go.
they you know, he's so out of touch that these people, and it's cool to see that someone is very much with the memes and the jokes and the current
Yeah.
aspects, and he's really up to date, and I think that's a huge reason why he's so relatable.
Yeah, Osmond, I watch him time to time. He actually got me banned on well, he didn't ban me. He was like, before I ban you, why are you spamming? And I was like, listen, respectful. I said, listen, I am trying, and he pulled me up on the screen. I should have I was gonna try to advertise myself a little bit in a way, sneak, in a way soothing, sneak
Touch
my
to
way.
what you do,
Yeah. So listen, then I told him, listen, no, I'm just trying to. When I type in the name, it automatically mutes me, and I keep on trying to repeat it, put it out so it doesn't mute me. So I'm getting muted every 5 minutes, but he was like in a rush, in a way, because he had to continue. He said, "So tell me, why should I not ban you and ban others that do spamming?" And I'm like, "I'm not spamming. I'm just trying to ask you a question." And it keeps on auto. It seems like as soon as I press go, it automatically, because you have a certain name, banned. So if I type in that name, it's going to ban. So I have to make the name kind of weird uh, to change it.
Yeah, a lot of places protect. The best way to do it is word of mouth through people that have a reputable place,
Yeah.
so like they can then reach out privately. So trying to do it in a public space is usually not the best place to do it.
It's
So
really, yeah, because it was something that he was talking about, and I said, "But did you saw this encounter with this person?" And it
maybe that, yeah, okay.
automatically, yeah. So then what
Maybe there's
happened was,
drama there, and they just don't want to have any of that discussion.
and
So
it's what,
I,
but
I I filter some things too. Like someone says my stream, like that's
yeah,
immediately a flag. It's like, all right, you're
yeah,
coming in here promoting them. 90% of the time, some people are like, oh, for some reason my stream is buffering, and then like that'll get it's a false flag, but it's not necessarily like that they're talking about their personal streaming thing.
yeah.
It's more of the stream they're watching is having issues, but most of the time you'll have somebody randomly come in and they try to be casual, and it's like
Hmm.
I see that they're trying to promote, and I get the hustle, like I understand it, but like if I don't know you, I don't want you talking about crap here.
I
So
mean, he's read a lot of my stuff that I asked, a lot of my questions, and he'll
you already
read
have
it
the
out.
relation, so yeah, I gotcha,
Yeah. So he was talking
and that's
about
fine.
certain people. And then when I asked him, okay, but do you saw the encounter between that person and this person, and it just auto. But at the end of the day, I just say, listen, my bad. I truly apologize. It wasn't my intention. I was just trying to ask a question, and it just kept on getting looped in. And I said, well, it won't happen again. And he goes, okay, I respect that. I respect that. Don't worry. I'm not going to ban him. I'm not going to ban him. I'm not going to ban him. I was like, cool. I mean, it's like, it was, but he
Yeah,
saw
because you had
all,
some value. Usually, it's not just selfless.
yeah,
So
he,
you got to watch out because some people are just completely selfish. If it's like a selfless, just add to the discussion, then it's a different
yeah.
story.
So people kind of left it alone, they didn't kind of care too much. And then I'm sure he saw this, my questions in the past, because it shows you the history of that
History,
person.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that'll I do that all the time. Yeah, someone will say something really like kind of like, what
Yeah,
was that all about? And then you kind of look at him and say, oh, this guy's been here for years, and say, all
yeah.
right,
So he
you're
kind of like
chilling.
saw it, and he was just like, okay. So he just like, oh, cool. So don't worry. I said, I just kind of like noticed that. Yeah. So Osman, yeah, he's uh, very, very, very big, pretty well known.
Yeah, he's an interesting one.
Very interesting character. Very interesting character.
He's got his own charm.
Yeah. I noticed like the big streamers like him. I mean, Summit's in the same boat. They're in a different category. You got the Summit 1G, you got the Osmond Gold, you got I will put Icho Speed and Kaisenet, all those groups are just like,
It's interesting to see how they develop their kind of corners and niches and the community culture. It's interesting to see. Now, there's Summit's not one of those people that's super high energy, and he's
yeah.
entertaining, but it's not like he brings that humble nature, and that's not always the most marketable when it comes to building a
True, I agree.
giant, like this behemoth of a community. But it's I appreciate the humble nature because honestly, like if you go into like this high energy type of just like ADHD inspired type of content, you're gonna get a lot of kids, and a lot of
Mhm.
kids. And I'm gonna be honest, like if you're trying to make money and have a comfortable like community, honestly, you want to appeal to people that are like through life a little bit. So, because they've got jobs, they've got security, they're going to be more relating. Those types are going to relate to people that are in a similar sense as them. So, honestly, when I see it, I'd rather have less people that are secure in their life that are going to, if they were to support, it's not going to ruin them. It's not like they're going to hear from their mom later because they stole the credit card to throw money down. It's
Correct.
very unstable type of income. But then you have, these people that are, in their 40s, 30s, whatever, just they've worked, they got a secure job, they have their 9 to 5s, and they're like, all right, well, I'm doing well. I just had, all right, got a promotion. It's like, hey, I just got a promotion. I appreciate all the advice you've been giving me. Here you go. Here's a kid. Let me toss you a little bit. So that in a sense, when it comes to, because as a streamer, you're pretty much street entertainer, and if people throw you money when they feel like it. So it's, if you don't have that respect, then you don't really have much going for you. So when it's that voluntary, type of income all the time, you have to, you got to appeal to the right people.
True. And you know what kind of crazy? A lot of these streamers like Summit, Kaisenet, they became like really popular for over an instant. There was something that happened that made them go viral. I think Kaisenet, it was a little mouse. He was live streaming, a little mouse appeared on his closet, came back
Oh
out.
shit, it's Summer's birthday today. Sorry, I just
is it
realized.
really?
Yeah, today. Yeah.
Oh, smack.
I was like, his birthday's coming up too. I was thinking about our age difference. We're not that far off from one another. So,
Summit, if you're gonna listen to this, it's gonna be a couple days after, but happy birthday. I'm sure
he's the OG. Yeah, he's old head's getting older.
Yeah, I told him when he was on the bottom, I said, "Hey, we're in the same group, bro."
Yeah.
He's in his 30s, so
sorry to cut you off. I was like, I think it just clicked to me. I was like, I gotta check. I gotta just a quick look up. Yeah, so big happy birthday to the homie. Yeah, he's good people.
Very good people.
He's not gonna hear this anyway, but yeah, I recorded a video.
I'm sure
he's gonna watch it on stream probably today. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll listen to it once he knows you, and he's gonna
Yeah, he's gonna have it. There's probably gonna be a bunch of people that recorded a little segment, and it's all gonna be spliced together and probably handed to him.
Yeah, I was saying that a lot of these streamers, there's something happened to them that made them like go viral. With Summit, when he was on that Counter-Strike, he won a match or something, and he caught himself on fire and died.
Oh, the Molly incident? Oh, yeah, the Molly. Yeah,
that right there just made him like, and I told him,
so much more relatable too, right? So everybody's done this. He's,
and I told him,
so he's so embarrassed by it, but it just made him human.
If it wasn't for that, it wouldn't make him go viral, because that spread out like wildfire.
Who cares about the wins? They want to see your failures.
Yeah,
if it's a funny failure, then it's even better. Oh gosh,
it's gonna spread out like crazy. Kaisenet, I think he had a mouse. I don't know if it's iChelsea or I think Kaisenet or iChelsea, either of them. They were live streaming. Somebody said, "Hey, a mouse came out of your closet, and a little mouse came in, and came back in," and that spread it out. Because I looked up what is it that made these streamers popular, famous. What was it that kind of boost them up? And there's a video that come out that what certain streamers have done that made them really famous. I'm like, oh wow, something that you just did is just
just something random can happen, man. It just I've been on fail videos for I remember way back when PUBG started. I was already doing okay. I was like, I'm talking all this crap to this dude, and I was like, it was after landing, I grabbed a shotgun, and the dude just panned me or something like that. I'm like, oh god, I'm like talking all this shit. I'm like, yeah, you got nothing, man. I got this, missing. Then the dude just gets me. I'm like, oh my god.
So you were big on PUBG as well?
Well, I've known PlayerUnknown, because the thing is, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was from Arma 3 originally, and that's where it got big. And that's also through. The thing is, Lyric is also a big name for when it comes to role play, as well as just BGs in general, like Fortnite. I mean, he kind of he was the guy that played PlayerUnknown's Battleground mod on Arma 3, which ended up getting big, and that was his go-to content eventually. It's like, all right, let me just jump in, do a BG real quick. And that's where the inception of the idea started. Maybe there was other ideas out there that might have been doing it, but that's the one that caught a lot of focus through him, and it caught a lot of attention until it became, well, then PlayerUnknown made his own game. And I know the guy. I know Brandon Green. He's someone I've known for years. I literally have his phone number if I want to call him. He's
right.
But he's so massive now. And it's cool to see how he he's a very humble guy. He's another one of those very funny, very kind of real.
What's his gamer tag?
PlayerUnknown.
Oh, okay, PlayerUnknown.
It's his game. Yeah, it's his game. And he's making another game, this whole another survival, Daisy huge probably procedurally generated world, and he's doing something a little way different than he was before. So we'll see how that goes. But he's a good dude. I like the guy a lot.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Tim. It's crazy, man. You know a lot, man.
I've met a lot of people. Yeah, so a lot of people. Yeah, I have my own little corner, and I kind of keep it myself. But I know the industry pretty well.
You didn't have to go through what I got to go to know a lot of people.
You get there. You just you just talk to people, and honestly, these conventions are really great too to start like.
I got to start doing that, going to the conventions and
they've lost their luster a little bit because it's such a. It's not so new. Like the pioneering aspect of it is kind of lost. It's now kind of a perpetual cycle instead of it being a growth one.
Wow.
It'd be nice to see Twitch really get back on the growth thing again, but it's they're kind of the growth is now like the shorts, like TikTok's kind of hitting that perpetual cycle, but it's those you got to really keep an eye out for these new platforms that come out of nowhere especially when it comes to social media, where they start building a big user base. So you got to keep an eye on that because that's where people always flock to the new and current and shiny. So and you got to be early to see it.
True. Wow, man. You know what? I would like to do a segment one day about science and have you on with somebody else that has some type of degree in science or something. So let me see. Cool. That would be freaking wild.
I don't really know too much. I mean, I follow things like that, but I love it. I love it.
That's the thing. I mean, because the conversation gets really good, and you just taught me something about with Elon.
Terrafab, yeah, it's cool.
I'm gonna look now. You got me really into because I like that.
It's inspiring. It's like this is the future. Like, come on, what's humanity gonna look like in 10, 20, 50 years? Like I love to think about that.
Yeah, that's freaking wild. I'm gonna do that. We'll figure that out, man.
Right? It unlocks the what is even the like pioneer aspect or the exploration side or imagination, like correct. What ifs, and it's like that's what that because you need to have that. I feel like because in what are we when we're kids? We're just we have the kids, and I'm sure you can probably attest to this. Their imaginations are wild.
Oh yeah,
because they're wild. Absolutely, it's like
Legos is still a thing, so
that's the reason because they build what they envision and. It's that's what we lose as we get older. So when you find that imagination as you're older, you need to tap into that because there's something there that you could do to maybe make some of that a reality that doesn't exist.
Yeah. This is why Minecraft is still popular. I see older people playing Minecraft. I'm like, I mean, I'm not really into it, but I could see their appreciation for it. Of building stuff, they just I'm gonna build this pirate ship on Minecraft.
My daughter's so into Minecraft. She comes over. She should finally watch a YouTuber that was like, oh, I want to do modding, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I've been telling you this. You didn't want to listen to Dad because Dad doesn't know what he's talking about, right?
I know they all do that. They all say that. My kids the same thing. Or I told them you want to stream, you want to game, and. My son's a gamer. He loves all this stuff. He loves, but he's more into Zelda, Pokemon, and.
Yep, same. My daughter was choose Zelda for Halloween, and then plays Pokemon.
Oh
and I got her Switch a couple of years ago, and then she wanted to do Pokemon. Got her the DLC. I'm like, here you go. And then she when she comes over, she doesn't have a PC like I do. I'm the gamer. So she's like, I want to play Minecraft. It's like, okay. She's like, how do I mod? I was like, oh, you want Cobble on? Here you go. Boom. I think that clicked for her a little bit. Like she didn't realize that I could just have it happen in minutes.
In minutes, you would just Hey Tim, it was so much fun talking to you, brother, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we could go on for hours, but I
gotta
run, pick up my son. But
thanks.
But listen, I want to bring you back on, man. It's this phenomenal conversation, and I most definitely gonna bring you back on. I
I like
want
that.
you to give.
I like when people see the unexpected side of me. 'Cause
Yeah, man.
I do the same thing every day. People just assume it's that, and then it's like, nah, I know the industry pretty well. You guys don't realize, but
Correct.
just lazy. My problem is I'm lazy.
I mean, you're not lazy. You came after streaming overnight and everything, and I was
Dude,
in shock.
this is a perfect storm. I had just been sleeping like crap, so like I got that 6 hours I was hoping for because I was only up for 8. Did my stream, and I'm like, oh god, I don't know how I'm gonna make 12 hours from now, but yeah, we'll see if we can do it.
You're good,
And then
man. You did.
hit that 6 hours. I'm like, that's all I really need. I know I didn't, I haven't been up long, so 6 hours would be plenty to make it work. And I just somehow passed out. I haven't been able to do that for the last week.
Wow.
So it just hit. I just passed out and it was great.
Good for you.
I think I found the secret. I found the secret. I had 2 bowls of cereal before I passed out. Maybe it's, I was like, maybe it's the milk. Oh, maybe that's what
what
I
helped
always
you
hear
sleep,
old
man.
people like warming milk up to help them sleep.
Yeah,
like,
that's what my grandma used to do. That warm milk up,
right? Yeah, everybody's
cereal.
grandma. You hear it.
Oh man, and
Maybe
for
that's
some
the
odd reason it
secret.
freaking worked. I was knocked out.
Yeah.
You know?
I did that last time. I'm like, oh shit, maybe there we go. We got it.
Yeah, but when you guys, can you just tell everybody your socials where they could find you, your Twitch channel, everything? Stage is yours.
I go by Tim here. I've been streaming on Twitch mainly. I kind of branched out a little bit to YouTube and TikTok, and as well as Kick, just co-streaming there. But I'm Timmac, Timmac. You can look me up and find me on all socials. It's at Timmac on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Couple off things like not Timmac or whatever it is, Timmac TV on Instagram, whatever. If you find me on X or Twitch, you'll see all my links pretty much everywhere. So
phenomenal. Well, folks, please follow the man. He is phenomenal human being, as you could tell. A very humble human being.
Thanks,
and,
man. I appreciate it, as you are.
Thank you. Please check him out. I do pop in one from time to time on his stream just to watch him. It's really cool. It's very fun. Trust me, you'll love it. Okay, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. Take care. Till next time. God bless. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode on the Rascals Lounge podcast, and please don't forget to follow us on X and on your favorite podcast platform.